Oi, tudo bem. I hope that you are doing well. As for myself, I'm doing fantastic. Welcome to my channel. This right here is my first video. I'll be talking about the first time I went to Brazil and speaking about the first time I met Maria in person. Brazil was a fascinating country to me. The first time that I was introduced to Brazil was when the movie Fast Five came out back in 2011. I remember watching the scene where The Rock is chasing Vin Diesel on the rooftops of the homes in Rio. And I always thought the aesthetics were amazing. And I said to myself, I'm going to visit Brazil one day. Fast forward years into the future. I met Maria on Facebook, and I was really captivated by Maria's smile. Because there's that part in Facebook where it says people that you may know. So I live here in Florida. Everybody that was in that group are people that I knew from my hometown, people that I knew from when I was in the military, or people of people that I know here in Florida. Maria's picture was close to the bottom, and when I saw her picture, I was captivated by her smile. However, when I clicked on her location, it said Brazil. And I thought to myself, I don't know anybody in Brazil. But anyway, I loved her smile. So I remember sending her a message via Facebook Messenger. So her and I, we had talked for a long time. We had a number of thought-provoking conversations. And the reason why I say thought-provoking conversations, it wasn't like they were deep conversations, but what I mean by thought-provoking in the sense of, like, typically if you see somebody and you say, hello, how are you doing? You're not expecting the person to stop and actually answer that question. It's just more of a greeting as you're walking by. Hi, how are you doing? Hi, how are you doing? And you're walking on by, and that's it. So your brain is set on autopilot because you know that that's what's going to be said. It's either hi, hey, hello, hi, how are you doing? And that's it. It doesn't require a thoughtful response back. However, Maria would always ask me questions. Like, for example, it would be a Friday. What exciting things are you going to be doing for the weekend? I'm like, oh, it gave me something to think about. Or on Monday, hey, good morning. What exciting things did you do over the weekend? What are you working on today? So it gave me something to think about. It helped expand my, I don't want to say help expand my vocabulary, but it did help to open my brain, my mind up to deeper conversations. Because whenever she had a conversation with me, it wasn't closed-ended, meaning, good morning, how are you? Fine. How is your day going? Great. She asked me questions that required me to give an answer, a detailed answer, and I really liked that. But we're going to come back to that point. So I remember my Facebook account ended up getting hacked, and I got in contact with customer support on Facebook. Facebook ended up deleting my account, and they told me to wait about 14 days, reinstitute your account. So at that time, Maria and myself, we were only on Facebook Messenger, and I hadn't really, thought much about, I thought deeply about her, but I didn't go to distance to actually get her telephone number so I could keep in contact with her. So when the Facebook account got scrubbed and waited a few weeks, I remember when I redid my Facebook account and had it set up, and within 24 hours, that spot that says people you may know populated one person, and it was Maria. And I was like, wow. I couldn't believe that because I thought that she was gone. And I remember instantly getting in contact with her and explaining to her what happened, got her personal information. And so our messages went from Facebook Messenger to WhatsApp. So I remember, and then now we're going into 2025, I remember that I wanted to do some traveling. So I made arrangements to go to Brazil. I told Maria was happy. So I was going to go to Brazil. And I was scared to death. Get scared to death for a couple of reasons. The first reason is, for me personally, I deal with a health condition called ulcerative colitis. So I have to be very watchful on what I eat. Because if I eat something and it's wrong and I have a flare up, I got to immediately find a bathroom. And so I'm sitting here thinking to myself, I'm on a plane, thousands of miles up in the air, probably 300 people plus on the plane. And if I eat something wrong, then I'm fighting to go to the bathroom. And then the second issue was that I didn't know Portuguese. I knew no Portuguese. My best friend would be Google Translate. So it didn't deter me because I was going to go to Brazil. I remember talking to a couple of people about my trip to Brazil, and they said, if you go to Brazil, you might get eaten by a snake. I heard that people in Brazil have piranhas as pets, so something's going to eat you when you get over there. I'm like, oh my goodness, these people are ridiculous. And again, I wasn't worried about that. It was one of those things where you live a comfortable life, but stepping outside of your comfort zone is scary. So you get up, you work, you take care of your family or yourself, you come home and you do the same routine day after day. You're comfortable. You have a place to live, you have clothes, your utilities are paid, you got food, everything is fine. However, taking a risk and actually living life versus just functioning every day, it's a huge difference. So for me to take that trip to Brazil was me actually taking a chance to live life. What am I going to miss out on if I don't take this trip? So I bought my tickets, got on the plane. The staff was fantastic. I flew on Azul. The flight was amazing. And I remember the day that I was flying out, it was an overnight flight. I made sure that my belly was empty because I didn't want to have any ulcerative colitis issues while I'm flying in the air. And I remember before the cabin lights dimmed, we had a meal. And I remember having the chicken and rice, and I pulled back the foil, and the meal was amazing. It smelled good. But in my mind, I was thinking, if I eat this, I'm going to have to run to the bathroom. However, I was hungry. Where I was sitting at, I was close to the bathroom. So I figured if anything goes wrong, the bathroom's right there. So I ate the meal, fell asleep, had a fantastic sleep. And then the illumination of the lights came on in the morning. It was breakfast time. Had this fantastic ham sandwich, and I have no idea what it's called in Portuguese. I just knew it was a fantastic ham sandwich. Had chocolate chip muffins, had juice, and a fruit. And I gobbled that down. And in understanding, I have not had any issues. So the plane landed, and we landed in São Paulo because my connecting flight was from São Paulo to Porto Seguro. And I remember the first thing that I saw was a McDonald's. Now, I wasn't expecting anything special at a McDonald's because it's McDonald's. I'm thinking McDonald's tastes the same all over the planet Earth. So I ordered the cheddar burger, no onions, fries, and a Coca-Cola to drink. And I remember that was the best McDonald's meal that I ever ate in my life of existence. It was almost like Chef Gordon Ramsay was in the back, running the kitchen, and all the food was fresh grown. Someone was in the back peeling the potatoes and slicing them into French fries. Someone was kneading dough and making it into buns. I mean, everything was fresh. Everything tastes amazingly great. And I'm like, this is at McDonald's. So I couldn't believe it. So a couple hours passed, got on the second plane, and the second plane was leaving from Sao Paulo, and we were landing in Porto Seguro. And I remember the food on that plane. They gave us these really nice peanuts, and they were amazing, amazing peanuts. Love those. So when I touched down in Porto Seguro, it was very hot. However, the people were very friendly and very helpful, because during that time, and like I mentioned earlier in the video, I had Google Translate. But the problem was is that everything was moving so fast, I didn't have time, like I couldn't slow down to type what I wanted on my phone to show an individual on what I was trying to communicate or what I needed to do. I just followed along until I got to my destination. So I ordered an Uber. Uber picked me up at the airport and took me to my hotel. And that's when it was able to slow down enough. And I was greeted by the manager at the counter. He said, "Oi, tudo bem?" And then he said something else. Don't know what the something else was. And for me, while he's speaking to me, you know, I'm on my phone. "Hi, my name is Frank. I'm trying to check in." And, you know, I hold up the phone to him and he laughs. And so he looks at the phone and he says something else to me in Portuguese, and he gives me my key. And there's another gentleman that says something to me in Portuguese and takes me to my room. So I get settled and I come back out and I type in there that I'm waiting for Maria. Where's the bus station at? And they tell me that the bus station is like a 3-minute walk. But while you're here, take advantage of the amenities that we have. So I remember my first meal was a cheeseburger and fries and a Coca-Cola at the hotel. That was, oh my goodness, the freshest food that I've eaten, as a burger, fries, and a Coca-Cola. This Coca-Cola was in the can. The Coca-Cola I had at McDonald's was a fountain, but this one came out of a can. And it was the best Coca-Cola that I ever drunk. I really wish they had that type of Coca-Cola here in Florida. So I laid out by the pool, was relaxing, listening to Portuguese music. And then all of a sudden I get a buzz on my phone. Maria's telling me that she'll be there in town in about 30 minutes. So my palms of my hands start to sweat. So I go back to the room, take a shower, freshen up, and I go back to the front desk. I ask, "Please point me in the direction to the bus station." So he points to the bus station. So I walk. So when I get to the bus station, it's these huge, huge double-decker buses. Or maybe, no, I'm saying that wrong. Not huge double-decker buses, but it's the bus that has the cargo hold at the bottom for all your luggage, and then the passengers sit at the top. I mean, I've never seen anything like that. And Maria texted me and said, "I'm here." My palms are sweating because I don't know what to expect. I just know she's here. And I don't know which bus she's on, because 4 buses pull up, and these buses are massive, and I see people coming off the bus. And I'm telling you, I remember looking up in the windows, because the buses have these big giant windows. And I remember watching the people get off this one bus, and they're walking down the stairs and they're coming out of the bus, but then the people stop. And I'm looking, wondering, and I knew there were still people up on the bus, but I was like, why did they stop? And it was Maria. I remember seeing Maria through that big glass and seeing that smile. And I'm telling you, my heart melted. She comes running off the bus. She jumps up and gives me a big hug. And I'm telling you, that was the most happiest day of my life. Being able to see her in person. We probably hugged for about 5 minutes. Like it was elevated in the sense of we built a really good foundation in our communication. And then to actually meet each other in person just solidified everything and elevated it. And I remember when we were done hugging, I remember getting down on one knee and proposing to her, asking her to marry me. And she said, Sim, Sim, which is yes in Portuguese. So I've been to Brazil 5 times since then, and we are going through the K1 visa process right now. We've been going through this process. As the day of me filming this video, Monday, August 3rd, 2026, this is day 409. Right now, Maria's case is at the U.S. Embassy in Rio, and we're just waiting for the email stating that the U.S. Embassy is ready to process her petition. So we're coming down to the end of this. So the video that's in my shorts that shows our timeline for the 5 visits I have been to Brazil has been an amazing experience. And I'm going to get into different aspects of what I really love about Brazil, because it's so many aspects, like the food. The food is dynamic, it's colorful, it's flavorful, it's juicy. And the thing about the food in Brazil is that it's so good that you don't eat to really overeat. You're just satisfied, and it makes you feel really at home. The people in Brazil that I've met, you feel like family. It's amazing how the customer service makes you feel like family. The people that you just randomly meet will have you feeling like family. It's nothing like, remember earlier in the video when I had mentioned about when you walk past somebody here, you say, hi, how you doing? You're not expecting someone to stop and actually answer that question. But in Brazil, when you say, oi, tudo bem, the person actually stops and answers that question. I found that to be amazing. And so I really like that aspect. And another aspect that I like is the way the Brazilians dress. It's so professional, it's so neat, it's so clean. I feel like when I was there and the way I was dressed, I feel like I just pulled my clothes out of a laundry sack and put it on. The men and women, and even down to the little kids, they all have a nice, clean, respectful way of dressing. And I find that amazing. I find that amazing. So thank you for taking the time to watch this story. I said I've been to Brazil 5 times in the last 14 months. Maria and I are going through the K1 visa process. And like I said, just a quick recap. It's been 409 days. We're just waiting for the email from the U.S. Embassy saying, hey, Maria, we are ready to process your petition. So we're getting that taken care of. So I know this video was a little long. It's a lot long, but thank you for being with me, and have a fantastic day, and look forward to more videos to come. Take care. Bye.